for another video. Today's video is going to combine the two main topics on my channel, which is travel and scrapbooking. So at the moment I unfortunately don't have any trips booked, but I'm starting to get some inspiration for things that I would like to do at some point in my life, and so I am making a travel bingo card. So I like the idea of a bingo card rather than a traditional list, because I've seen people say this before, but they feel like there's less pressure to sort of achieve everything on it. People tend to do this for sort of, you know, what they want to achieve in life, but I'm doing this for travel. So the idea is that you don't have to complete every single square. You can try and colour in a row or a column or get a diagonal, or even if it's just sort of the four corners, you know, it's not, you don't have to achieve everything on it, but these are the things that I would like to hopefully achieve travel wise at some point, or experience at some point. So I'm not setting a time frame on this, you know, even if this takes me up to when I'm 80 and I'm still doing this, that's fine. It's just sort of things that I would like to achieve at one point, and I think it's a good way to sort of prioritize what you would like to do. You can focus on the ones you want to do first. So I've just drawn out a grid. There are 25 spaces on it, and now I'm just doing a title page, or a title across the top, and then I'm just going to decorate it with some traditional sort of scrapbooking stuff. I'm using this washi tape. It looks like sort of passport stamps on it, which obviously fits with the travel theme. And then I'm really sorry, the top of the page is cut off the screen, but this is sort of like a travel themed washi tape. This came with sort of like a pack of scrapbooking stuff. I can't remember where it's from, but I thought this was a good time to use it. And then I'm just going to sort of decorate with some stickers. Again, I'm really sorry the top of it has been cut off, but you'll be able to see the finished product at the end. So I've just picked a car with a lot of luggage on the top, and then I looked through these, and these are all sort of destination stickers, so they weren't really suitable for this at the moment. So instead I found a plane and a load of luggage, which I'm just going to put in the bottom corner here. So it does cover up one square, but you know, that's not the end of the world. So yeah, that is the outline, so let's get into it. So I'm using 3 different coloured pens to separate into different categories. So I'm going to use purple for experiences, blue for places, and then red as a wild card. So these are things that I don't think I will ever do, but it would be nice to put them on there to kind of get me out of my comfort zone. So the first one is an experience, and this is to see a giraffe or lion in the wild. So I would love to go to Tanzania and do sort of like the Serengeti, but you know, if I can see a giraffe, or like, you know, if I end up in South Africa, I'm not sort of going to limit myself to one African country, but I would love to see a giraffe or a lion, or hopefully both, in the wild. The next one is a place, so I would love to go to New Zealand, particularly to do a road trip around New Zealand. I know this is not going to be for at least another 10 to 15 years, but I'm definitely putting it on the bingo card regardless. And then the next one is to travel with my cousin again. So I've been to Toronto with her, and we also did 3 weeks in Australia. Yeah, she's great to travel with, and so whether it's just a city break because we both have full-time jobs, or a longer trip, it would be great to go away with her again. So this is the next one, and this is the first wild card. So I would like to potentially visit all 7 continents. So at the moment, I've just been to Europe, Asia, Australasia, and North America. I don't know if I'll ever get to South America or Africa, and I probably won't get to Antarctica, but it's nice to put this on as a wild card just in case. And then another place is I would like to explore more of the UK. So I am from England and I don't really do many staycations or trips in the UK. So it would be nice to explore a bit more of my home country. So then the next one is another wild card, and this is to go on a cruise. So I've never really been particularly interested in cruising. However, I can appreciate that it is a good way to see different places at once. And also the thought that you get the occasional day at sea to chill out. It's sort of a mixture of adventure and relaxation. So that could be a possibility for a trip. And then the next one is another experience, and I'm putting that I would like to travel to one new country each year. I'm not the kind of person who would sort of like to visit every country in the world, but it would be nice to sort of go somewhere new each year if possible. And then another experience is I would like to go somewhere very snowy. So I do have a destination in mind for this. I'd love to go to the glass igloo houses in Finland. However, it's more the experience that I'd love to go somewhere snowy, do husky rides, reindeer, have a big massive snowball fight, and then cozy up in a little cabin. The next one is another destination, and I would like to visit parts of Europe that are important to my family. So we have family ties to Austria, particularly Vienna. So I'd like to go there. And also, I think we have a bit of Irish distant relations there. So it would be nice to sort of visit Ireland and see where part of my family is from. And then the next one is I would like to see Pompeii. So I'd love to go to Italy in general. Um, I'd like to go back to Rome. I'd like to go to Cinque Terre and just some other places at Florence. But I would really like to see Pompeii as sort of like a main excursion. And then the next one is to swim with a turtle in the wild. I'm still salty about the fact that I got so seasick on a day trip to the Great Barrier Reef and chose not to do a snorkeling expedition, and that's where the turtles were. So at some point, I would love to swim with a turtle in the wild. The next one, I'd like to use the Greek I've learned on Duolingo. So I'm trying to learn Greek. I'm not doing particularly well. I don't think I could have a proper conversation. However, I am getting better at reading Greek. So even if it's in a restaurant, I could read the Greek side of the menu rather than the English side. I would consider that a win, but ultimately I would love to have a conversation with someone. And then the next wild card is to go somewhere completely off my radar. So 5 years ago, if you'd have told me that I would have visited Romania and Costa Rica and even Australia, I would not have believed anyone. Australia I thought was off limits in terms of distance and cost, and Romania and Costa Rica had never really been sort of on my radar. So yeah, I would like to sort of go somewhere that right now I have no idea about or sort of any inkling of that country at the moment. And then the next one, I would like to visit Greece once a year. It's my favourite place to travel, and if I could go there at least once a year, every year, I'm more than happy with that. Okay, the next one is I would like to travel by train. So I mean sort of a long distance train journey. For example, the Rocky Mountaineers in Canada that goes from Banff to Vancouver, but any long distance train journey would be cool. Then the next one is to learn about an ancient civilization. So at school, I absolutely loved the ancient Greeks, and I learned about the Romans as well. But I'd like to maybe learn about the Incas or the Mayans, the Egyptians. So yeah, I'd like to sort of brush up my history skills and learn about an ancient civilization by visiting the place they are from. The next one is another wild card. So I've put I'd like to visit New York City at Christmas. So I've been to New York twice, really like it as a city, but there is something about the idea of visiting it at Christmas. However, because obviously it's in winter, the days are shorter, so I feel like you wouldn't get as much done. But yeah, I'd love to sort of visit New York at Christmas and see all the lights and the decorations and the big Christmas trees. This one is another Greek one. Can you tell I like Greece? So I would like to spend a month in Greece. Normally, the longest I've spent there is 2 weeks. Normally, I go for a week. So yeah, to spend a whole month, whether that would be on one island or island hopping, I would just love to do that. Next one is to travel in business class on a flight. I have been fortunate that I did manage to travel with upper class with Virgin. However, it wasn't the best experience for me, not because it wasn't a good airline, but just personally I did not have a great experience. So I would like to re-experience that as it should be. The next one, I should have actually put this as a wild card because it's to camp. I'm not a camping person, but whether that be on safari or in a national park, you know, it would get me out of my comfort zone and would hopefully be a good experience. And then this next one is to visit a national park with lakes, mountains, and forests. So I do have a specific one in mind, and that is Banff National Park in Canada. However, just cost wise, I don't know if this is going to be something that I will be able to do, just because of the length of time I'd want to stay there, whether I could take that length of time off work and the cost of it. So yeah, I would love for this to be Banff, but if I can find any national park with lakes, mountains, and forests that looks like Banff, then I'm cool for that substitute. Then I'm doing another wild card, and this is to do a proper road trip. So whether that be Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand. Yeah, I'd love to either hire a camper van and do a proper road trip, or even just a normal car road trip and sort of spend nights in motels and hostels. But yeah, to do a proper road trip would be cool. And then the next place, or place one, is that I'd like to visit the Scottish Highlands. So I know I've put sort of I want to explore more of the UK, but I would specifically love to go to the Scottish Highlands. It looks beautiful. The history there really fascinates me. So yeah, I'd love to go there. And then the last one I'm doing is to cook pizza or pasta in Italy. So I love pasta and pizza. They're two of my favourite foods. And yeah, to make it properly in Italy and then eat it would be pretty cool, I think. So yeah, that is all 24 things that are on my bingo card. I'm just sort of going over the highlighter pen just to sort of make it stand out a little bit more. And yeah, currently I don't have any trips booked, but hopefully I'll start looking through the bingo card and decide which one could be potentially first on my list. And yeah, I am looking forward to crossing or colouring them all in, or as many in as I can, and yeah, seeing where my travels take me. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, if it's given you any inspiration for where you would like to travel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!